Many parents are trying to process news of pro-suicide videos circulating on the net. This has raised the issue of how much screen time is too much for young children. Let's unpack playtime is better than screen time. We're joined via Skype by Cindy Glass. She's from the Step Up Education Centers. So Cindy, let's perhaps start with a little bit of context for some of our viewers who may not be aware of what we are talking about here.
Yes. Well, at the moment, circulating on the internet is a game, and I really put that in italics, that pops up on normal children games, games like Peppa Pig and Barney and all that sort of thing. But it's this creature called Momo who encourages children to self-harm or to harm others. And it even goes so far as to encourage children to commit suicide. It is a very, very frightening scenario that we're experiencing right now. And what is even worse is that it is popping up when parents are not aware. So a child may be playing on a normal child game, something most usual that they would be playing, and this creature will pop up, and children are incredibly impressionable. So they would most likely listen to it, and there have been incidences of children who have hurt themselves or tried to hurt others as a result. So it is a very frightening phenomenon at the moment.
It's incredibly infuriating, and it makes your stomach turn to think that we have literally launched warfare on our most vulnerable. So this also exists on YouTube Kids, and we know sometimes in order for you to be able to finish cooking that meal or to be able to finish that document, you then hand over your tablet to your children and they go on to YouTube Kids. And like you say, this is in the form of cartoons. How do we help our young ones to even raise the flag to say, there's something that is not right with what I'm seeing here?
Well, our young children are dependent on us to make sure that they are safe. So we need to realize this. So we need to take responsibility for what our children are watching. And we need to sit our children down, even if they're little, and explain to them, if they're going to be using YouTube Kids or watching whatever, that if something pops up that makes them feel uncomfortable, makes them feel a little bit scared, or anything that is unusual, that is not part of the program they are watching, that they are to alert you immediately and to switch and to show you, first of all, so you are aware of it, and you as a parent need to deal with it. They are dependent on you as a parent. They cannot discern this for themselves. They are way too little. We have children, children are on cell phones and tablets and all that sort of thing from early on, from when they can actually hold it in their hands. So it is up to us to make sure that they are safe and be aware of what they are watching. We also need to be aware of their responses and behaviors. If you see your child is having a nightmare, unusual nightmare or something like that after being on a tablet, you need to be aware that there could very well be something that they have seen that they really shouldn't be seeing at all. The problem with this game that's coming up, this Momo, is that it pops up in the middle of or during these games. So you may be thinking that these children, your children, are quite safe. They're watching whatever they're watching on YouTube and they're safe. But it pops up 10, 15 minutes into it. So be aware of your children's behavior and alert them to the fact that if they feel uncomfortable at any stage, they need to let you know.
The sick and twisted human being or human beings coach children on how to actually even commit suicide. And YouTube in response is saying that, well, we would like your help. If something comes up, the duty or the onus is on you to then report this. Is that enough, though? I mean, we've come so far technologically. Surely there should be better checks and balances to make sure that something like this does not happen.
Well, I have to agree with you 100%. If you look at Facebook, for example, anything that we post on Facebook that is deemed inappropriate material is immediately removed, and you're even put into Facebook prison. We all know this happens. So with something like our children, I really do believe there needs to be a whole lot more done on a technological basis to protect our children. But having said that, that is not in our hands. We can only deal with what is in our hands right now with our children. So we need to make sure that our children are watching material that is safe, and bearing in mind that all sorts of things happen on the internet, and there are things that are out of our control. What is in our control is to be aware and to make sure that our children are safe at all times when it comes to the internet.
Absolutely. And Cindy, we can't stop this at all. It's almost a wave that is just going to wash over us, right? That is where the world is going. We're teaching our children how to program. We're teaching our children about how the internet actually works. So what do you say to parents who say, well, I'm going to take these tablets away from my children and I'm not going to expose them to this world, in response to trying to protect them? Is that the way to go?
Well, everybody has different opinions on this, but I really believe that we cannot put our children into cotton wool boxes. It's the same as if a child is climbing a tree, we're not able to stop them from falling out of that tree necessarily. So what we need to do is educate our children. We need to make them aware that these things exist, and they need to know what the triggers are that tell them that something is not right. It is up to us to educate our children. We need to sit them down and have this conversation. If you think about it, we have had the stranger danger conversation with our children for the longest time. We literally sit them down and speak to them about not engaging with strangers. Now, why can we not do exactly the same when it comes to the internet? We need to have these open conversations with our children. We cannot put them into cotton wool boxes, but we do live in a world of technology. That is a fact and something that we can never take away. Whether they use your tablet or whether they use a friend's tablet, that's going to happen. Technology is part of our world. We need to find ways of educating our children in protecting themselves as well.
Absolutely. Our babies come out of the womb and already they can send an email. We need to do better by them. Thank you very much, Cindy Glass from the Step Up Education Center.